In the Rialto Unified School District, part of our mission states that we will have high expectation for student achievement. Today on the Bridge podcast, we welcome the two top students at Rialto High School for the class of 2023. Please welcome Valedictorian Melanie Robles, Salutatorian Steven Lee, and their principal, Dr. Carolyn Sweeney. First of all, I want to thank you so much, Melanie, and thank you, Steven, for being here.
Thank you.
It is quite an honor to sit here with two brainiacs, as I say, and thank you, Dr. Sweeney, for being here. I know that we're in May, so it's such a busy time for all of us, especially for high schoolers. And I want to start off with you, Melanie. Miss Robles, you are the valedictorian for Rialto High School. Your GPA, 4.76, OMG. And I know you're going to be heading to Stanford on a full ride scholarship. What's your major? What do you want to do there?
I'll be studying political science there, but I'm also looking into double majoring with earth systems, which is like environmental science. So I'm very excited about that.
So you do want to be an environmental lawyer?
Correct.
Excellent. And what is your future aspirations from that?
Well, for a while, of course, I want to be working in actual law, serving the community here. But after that, I do look forward to running for an elected position, hope one day being in the U.S. Congress.
Oh, wow. So have you had a conversation with our Congressman, Pete Aguilar, about this yet?
No, I haven't,
Okay.
but I do really want to meet him.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to make that happen for you. Very important stuff. Thank you so much. And I want to talk to Steven as well. Steven, of course, the salutatorian for 2023 at Rialto High School. Yep. You hold a GPA of 4.64. Tell me about your future aspirations.
Currently, I plan to go to Cal Poly Pomona, majoring in computer science.
Okay.
I hope to break into the aerospace industry, hopefully soon.
Well, you don't have any ambitions, do you?
Nah.
Nah. So, and why did you choose that field?
I just think it's super cool, like aerospace in general. Like, I really like airplanes, and I figured computer science is a growing industry, a growing major, so I feel like that's my best bet.
Well, that's awesome. Cool. Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a very, very, and it's a tough field to break into too, but it seems like you have more of a science background for that, right? Okay, now I'm going to come back to you. And Dr. Sweeney, how proud are you of Steven and Melanie?
Oh, I couldn't be prouder if I tried. This graduating class went through a lot, and they came out the other side, and jokingly I say they didn't even need us. They were able to do it all on their own, and to be able to stand next to them on our stage at graduation is going to be a complete delight. I can't wait.
And of course, Dr. Sweeney came to us in 2019 at Rialto High School as a principal, and soon after we hit COVID and the pandemic, and we have survived it. So that's a positive. It's a positive. And so I want to go back to you, Melanie. I know that all of you, or both of you, what is the best thing on your campus at Rialto High School?
Of course, I think it is definitely like the community there at Rialto High. I definitely have been able to find like my people, my favorite teachers there are awesome. And there's so many clubs, and everyone's so passionate in those clubs. So I really was able to find people with those like-minded passions as me. For example, I'm in Wilderness Club. I was able to start my own club there. And
now, what is the Wilderness Club for those of us watching who may not know?
The Wilderness Club is just focusing on environmental stewardship, and we're keen about like protecting our environment, going out, doing community service, educating the student body about environmental issues, climate change. So everyone there is really passionate about that, and it was really cool to see the club grow throughout my 4 years.
Excellent. And what about you, Steven?
Personally, for me, the favorite part about Rialto High School is honestly the staff. The staff are really, they're cool people. They're very, there's a lot to them. Like, you don't really talk to the custodial staff at all, not really. But they're very cool.
So you do, and that's great, right? So when you're talking to them, they're interested in, yeah. Oh, excellent. So you mentioned that. You said the staff. What is your favorite subject, and who are your favorite teachers?
My favorite subject at the moment is AP Physics, and I'll have to say my favorite teacher right now is Mr. Anserman and Mr. Gutierrez.
Why?
I kind of get away a lot in those classes, but they're very good at teaching. So
Not true.
You get away with a lot, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying not true.
I'm saying not true just because I know what they've produced at the end of this year. Right. So I think that Steven's just being really humble in what he's saying. And I can only anticipate what Melanie's about to say. But what I know about the two teachers and the two classes that he just said is just how hard the students in those classes work to produce what they are. Because Mr. Gutierrez is our AP Calculus teacher. So it's not like he's taking a class that doesn't need focus and doesn't need things.
So it's not like underwater basket weaving.
I hear that they offer that at some schools, but yes.
So yeah, these are very, very tough courses, and you're mastering them, and that's what she's saying. And so that's great that you have the humility. What about you, Melanie?
I would also agree with Steven on the Mr. Anserman and Mr. Gutierrez. They also have been my teachers, although AP Physics definitely did not come as easy to me personally. I took it last year, and at one point I was really struggling, but I went to tutoring nearly every day, and Mr. Anserman was always there for me, and he always helped guide me through all the questions and everything, and he never made me feel bad about how bad I was at this class, I guess. But also Miss Casarubias, I met her this year, and she's an advisor for one of my clubs about social justice, and she has really kept going that passion about government. She really opened my eyes about even more issues within the political system and the political world. So she has also been a big inspiration for me.
Now, I understand also that both of you have said something that is very interesting, a struggle. A lot of people think, and there's a perception, oh, the valedictorian, the salutatorian, they're perfect, or they're this and that. You both also, when you're at the top, or a distinguished scholar, when you're at the top of your game, there's also sacrifices to be made. There's also that stigma of being perfect or making sure that you get those A's. And can you talk to me a little bit about that? And I love the fact that both of you do other things to be balanced. So you want to be a balanced person. It's not just grades, because that can sometimes be unhealthy as well. So can you talk a little bit about the social emotional aspect of how do you escape? What do you do? What's your hobbies when you get away from that? And is that important? Oh, yes. Any one of you.
All right. Well, last year, I think I definitely dealt with this a lot. I was very stressed out, I would say, because I was struggling a lot in my classes. And not to say that before I haven't struggled, but it was a different level of difficulties, taking on so many more AP classes and jumping from the pandemic to 4 AP classes full time. It was definitely a struggle, and I found myself in the beginning of the year struggling to find out how to find that balance. And I really had to talk to my parents about how I was feeling. And they assured me regardless of your grades, we love you. We just want you to be healthy. And I just kind of started focusing more on myself. I got back into my piano. I've been playing since I was in 7th grade. So I just tapped into that. I started composing music about what I was feeling. And journaling was another thing I got into, just to focus more on my emotional health, not just my academics. And just with small steps like that, finding what makes you truly happy, I was able to really control that stress of academics. And just by focusing on myself, I felt like the academics followed.
Excellent. And you know what, Melanie? How lucky that you have two very nurturing and supportive parents. What are their names? Give them a shout out.
Yes. My dad is Julian Robles, and my mom is Judy Garcia.
Okay.
And honestly, I would not be here at all if it wasn't for them.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's got to go in your speech. It's got to go in your speech.
It's already in there.
What about you, Steven? Tell me about your inspiration and how you can maybe speak to somebody who's watching, who's viewing, and who might want to say, I want to be a valedictorian. I want to be a salutatorian. Give them throw them some good advice.
Personally, for my inspiration, I would say it's just, I don't really know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know. But my
You're
advice,
not that type.
No,
Okay.
It just sort of happened. But if my advice would be, if you really want to go for it, just send it. You're really not gonna miss out. I don't really think too much. You'll miss out a few hours a day. But honestly, if you stay diligent in your classes and you pay attention, you truly pay attention, there's really no reason for you to not
Achieve.
fail, to not achieve.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom over here. Dr. Sweeney, What if I'm a parent and I move to Rialto Unified School District and I'm searching for a high school and I walk on the campus of Rialto High School? What would I find?
In a great way, you'd find students just like this. You'd find staff that is dedicated to making sure that our students grow. You'll find it's not a cliche to say you'll find so much. You can be an athlete or not. You can be an academic or struggle. You can be there for the social part of it or be a complete introvert. And we just take you for who you are, and we just help you grow into what you are. To piggyback off what these students said, they're truly the perfect examples of the individuals that we have at our school. For instance, they're some of the most humblest people I've ever seen. You wouldn't know, but Melanie came into us as a freshman, and one of the first statements she made on our campus was, "I want to be valedictorian." And she just made it happen, and she grew on it. Versus same scenario, Steven said, "I just want to be my best. I want to do my best. And I want to, if that happens to be salutatorian." I mean, he actually had a shocked look on his face when we said you're salutatorian. And it's not because he didn't try as hard as Melanie.
And that was my next question. How did they find out, and what was their reaction? So go ahead.
Well, and to be fair, they're both trying for it, right? Because it is something, it's not something you come across on accident. There's no way. You have to have picked the right classes, chosen the right things, and worked hard for, found the balance, things like that. But we have a tradition at Rialto High School where we try not to make it a competition. We try not to make it something like that. Instead, what we do at the end of the year, and I don't want to give away too much because we haven't let our class of 24 know what's going on, but it's more along the lines of, you've been working hard, and congratulations, and surprise, this is you. You are a valedictorian and you are a salutatorian. And I got to bring them into a room where their family was waiting for them, because their family is their support structure. As much as we hope that we help them grow, we know who really was the one that put in the time, themselves and their families. That's the ones that were there. And they just got to walk into a room full of people that were smiling on behalf of them and ready to congratulate them for not just 4 years of hard work, 13 years of hard work, not counting the time before kindergarten came across them. As much as we're going to take credit for it, absolutely, the Rialto High School's valedictorian and salutatorian, it started before us, and it's going to continue after us. And we can't wait for them to come back and for us to say, this is Rialto High School alumni. This is who they become. This is the member of the U.S. Congress, and this is the person who put the new shuttle up into orbit.
All right.
This
Wonderful.
is who it is. They came from us.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. She's cheerleading for the nice, right? So, but it is the triangle. It is the supportive parents and the nurturing parents at home. It is the informed and the conscientious and the kind, loving staff, which is teachers, which he mentioned, custodial staff, the administration, and then it is, of course, them, the students. So it is the John Wooden triangle of success, the pyramid of success,
Absolutely.
and that is very much alive. So I think that's great. And so, Matthew Peters, who does, and Ricardo Carlos and Edith Ortiz, they're all very much behind the scene on this podcast, and they derive some questions as well. One of the questions they always say, Saida, you have to ask this question, is what did you sacrifice to get here as a valedictorian and a salutatorian? What, if you can think of one thing that you sacrificed that got you to the level of the 4.54 and I'm sorry, for you, the 4.64 as a salutatorian top of your class, and of course the valedictorian with a 4.76 GPA and going to Stanford on a full ride, and you having a lot of success. What is the one thing each of you, not regretful, because you have to sacrifice something to get to this level of success, what did each of you sacrifice?
Personally, I just sacrifice like almost all my free time. And
That's a lot of sacrifice. What?
But
yes.
I didn't really spend my free time that well, I'm gonna be honest. I just probably like play video games most of the time.
Mm-hmm. What do you play?
Like Call of Duty.
Okay. Okay, we're going to edit that.
But that free time got sacrificed. It carried over into football too. And I'd often find myself on like the sidelines doing homework on the sidelines. And I'd be starting.
So we need to talk about this. I find myself on the sidelines doing homework.
Yes.
That's pretty powerful to reach. So you gave up something to gain something.
Yeah.
What about you, Melanie?
I as well. I think my afternoons was just filled with something. Whether it's tutoring, whether it's an after-school club, whether it's me just doing homework in my room. And at times I was like, is this even worth it? Like, should I be hanging out with friends? Should I be doing something else? But I feel like it was completely worth it, at least for me, because I knew where I wanted to go, and I knew I wanted to get a really good scholarship since my parents couldn't afford college. So I really had that inner motivation. So I felt like it was all worth it, and I still had time for like social activities, going out with friends and stuff. Just like it all had its time, and it wasn't like the main focus in my life.
Excellent. Well, communications team, after you graduate and you're working at NASA, you're doing your aerospace thing, we're gonna look for you, Mr. Lee. And Melanie, we definitely want to stay in touch with you because we've got to make you connect with Congressman Pete Aguilar so you could talk to him about how one day you would like to replace him in Congress. There you go.
Watch out.
Dare I say. And he's a wonderful person, and he's very, very student friendly. So I'm sure he'll be happy to meet you. I want to thank you, Dr. Sweeney, for coming out here in May, which is one of the busiest part of the school year, of course, for high school especially. Steven, Melanie, good luck to you. Congratulations. And we are so proud of you at the Rialto High School District.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For having us.
Thank you, of course, and thank you for being here. And I want to thank you for being here. Until next time, I'm Saida Joffrey. We'll see you on the Bridge Podcast.